An organization can stay busy constantly, yet remain stuck in place. When a plan is merely a to-do list and the strategy lacks long-term direction, the result is a disoriented team, scattered resources, and missed opportunities. Many organizations fail not because of a lack of effort, but because of the absence of a clear, practical, and executable strategic roadmap. A year from now, everything could still be at a standstill, simply because of a misunderstanding about how to build strategy. Now is the time to start the journey of designing a success map with an effective strategic planning process. Part 1. Strategic purpose, why we plan. Strategy is not the privilege of large corporations, but the lifeblood of any organization aiming for sustainable growth. In a volatile world, without clear strategic direction, organizations easily fall into reactive, aimless behavior, consuming resources without generating real value. Strategic planning is the proactive act of defining the destination, the path, and the necessary resources to reach that goal intelligently and efficiently. The goal of strategic planning is not to create a beautiful document, but to generate focus, prioritization, and alignment throughout the organization. It helps the team clearly understand what matters, what to let go of, and why they are doing what they do every day. When a strategy is properly built, it becomes a living commitment between long-term vision and concrete actions. Where logic meets inspiration and ambition is translated into a strong and enduring execution journey. Part 2. Participants. Strategy from multiple perspectives. An effective strategy cannot be crafted by a secluded leadership team in a closed boardroom. It must be shaped through the convergence of all organizational levels: senior leaders, middle managers, and frontline staff. Each group brings a unique layer of value: those who set vision, those who understand processes, and those who feel the day-to-day reality. When these layers of insight are synthesized, the strategy avoids bias and becomes comprehensive, practical, grounded, and executable. The number of participants should be appropriately controlled. Around 7 to 10 people is ideal to maintain depth in dialogue and avoid idea dilution. If this number is exceeded, a smart coordination and subgrouping plan is required. The key is not in quantity, but in the quality of participation. Those who truly understand the problem, possess strategic thinking, and are ready to commit to action. A strong strategy does not stem from concentrated authority, but from collective, dynamic, and critically engaged thinking. Part 3. Strategic space and schedule. Space fuels thinking energy. When an organization steps out of its familiar office into a new environment, free from ringing phones, rushed meetings, and overflowing inboxes, thought patterns begin to break free from old grooves. An off-site strategic planning session gives the whole team a refreshed, more creative, and open perspective. This is not just about changing locations, but about creating a strategic space where people are allowed to dream big, think differently, and dare to challenge the status quo. The strategic schedule should not be rigid. Depending on the scale and complexity, organizations may choose anywhere from a half day to 3 days for planning. Some conduct it annually. Others maintain a faster rhythm with weekly strategic check-ins. What's essential is a clear agenda with defined objectives for each session. A good strategy session doesn't start with what to do first, but with what decision needs to be made. Effectiveness comes from strategic facilitation in every meeting minute. Part 4. Input data, internal feedback. No sustainable strategy is built on assumptions. It must begin with truth. And truth comes from those who live and operate the organization daily. Gathering feedback is not a formality, but a vital step to understand what is working, what the bottlenecks are, and what inspires or drains people in the organization. This is the moment when the organization pauses to listen to itself. There are many ways to gather feedback: pre-planning surveys, small group discussions, in-depth interviews, suggestion boxes, internal communication tools like Slack, or simply informal coffee chats. Depending on the organization's scale, the methods may vary, but the core principle remains. The more diverse the perspectives, the more accurate the strategic picture. Feedback must be collected systematically and honestly, not just from managers, but also frontline employees. Feedback is not just data to analyze, it is the material to build consensus and spark commitment. When people see their voices heard and reflected in the shared plan, they shift from being influenced to becoming co-creators. This generates strong intrinsic motivation for strategy execution. A strategic plan that isn't listened to from the beginning will hardly be executed at the end. This is a decisive beginning. Part 5. SWOT and PESTEL, Unlocking the Strategic Environment. Strategy cannot be built solely on internal strengths. It must also reflect the external landscape. SWOT and PESTEL analyses are two tools that help organizations unlock strategic vision. SWOT allows the organization to look at itself, what is working well, strengths, what needs improvement, weaknesses, where the opportunities are, opportunities, and what threats exist, threats. This is a self-reflection step, honest, sharp, and unflinching. Meanwhile, PESTEL prevents strategic autism. It forces the organization to look outward and ask, how will political, economic, social, technological, environmental, and legal shifts affect our future operations? Reading market signals earlier than others gives you the upper hand. It's not about predicting the future, just being sensitive to it. PESTEL turns volatility into information, and information into advantage. When SWOT and PESTEL are combined, the organization gains a holistic vision. Know yourself, know your competitors, know the environment. This is the foundation for choosing the right battlefield and timing. Organizations fail not due to lack of resources, but from fighting the wrong battles. Strategic analysis teaches organizations to pick battles they can win, not ones everyone is rushing into. Sustainable victories begin with smart selection. Part 6. VRIN, Inimitable Advantage. Every organization has strengths, but not all strengths are strategic advantages. To build a sustainable foundation, an organization must identify capabilities that meet key strategic criteria. Valuable, rare, inimitable, organizationally deployable, and non-substitutable. This model, VRIN's N, is a powerful filter for uncovering long-term competitive advantages that rivals cannot easily access or replicate. Value V is the prerequisite. That capability must clearly contribute to business outcomes, customer experience, or operational efficiency. A strength that doesn't create specific impact is merely untapped potential. Rarity R helps the organization stand out from the crowd. If what you do well is also done well by hundreds of the competitors, it's not an advantage. Strategy starts where market needs intersect with what you do best. Inimitability, I, is the shield that protects advantage. What can be easily copied will be quickly eroded upon success. However, capabilities accumulated over time, embedded in systems, culture, or deep value chains, will take competitors years to approach. Organizational deployability, O, requires that the capability isn't dependent on individuals, but diffused throughout the system. From mindset to processes, from culture to people. Finally, non-substitutability, N, distinguishes between the temporary and the sustainable. If customers can achieve the same result through a different solution, then your capability isn't unique enough. True advantage exists when no feasible alternative exists, when you become the default choice, not a random one. When VRIN plus N converge, the organization enters a zone of unreachable advantage, and the more it executes, the further it distances itself from competitors. Part 7. VOS, Comprehensive Strategic Architecture. There is no sustainable strategy without structure. The VOS model, comprising vision, mission, values, goals, objectives, strategies, and tactics, forms the backbone guiding the entire organization. This is not a dry diagram, but a dynamic system that transitions the organization from aspiration to execution, from ideals to outcomes. Each component plays its role, but only when they are coherently connected do they become powerful. VOS is not merely theoretical. It is a blueprint for future action. Vision is the ideal future the organization is aiming toward. It's not just a destination, but a guiding standard for all strategic choices. A strong vision enables sound decision-making, attracts the right talent, and keeps the organization grounded during turbulence. Mission is the declaration of purpose. It answers, who is this organization here to serve, and for what purpose? When mission is clear, people understand why their daily work matters. Values are the cultural foundation. They are the vital principles that guide behavior and decision-making. No organization can maintain internal strength without a solid value system. Values must be lived, reflected in policies, behaviors, feedback, and recognition. When values are lived daily, they create a clear organizational DNA, the thing that helps hire right, retain right, and grow in the right direction. Values add depth and distinction. Goals are major strategic objectives that shape long-term focus. They act as a bridge between mission and more specific objectives. Goals provide thematic direction like international market expansion, organizational capability enhancement, or comprehensive digital transformation. They're not finely measured, but serve as framing guides. When goals are clear, the whole organization knows what to focus on, eliminating distraction and concentrating resources where they matter most. Objectives make goals measurable. From there, strategies are crafted and specific actions, tactics are deployed. If goals are the direction, objectives are the specific commitments. If strategies are the chosen paths, tactics are the footsteps taken. VOS creates a continuous flow from thought to action. When everyone understands how they contribute to shared goals, strategy is no longer words on paper. It becomes a living force in daily behavior. Part 8. KPI and Strategy Map. Purposeful Progress Measurement. Strategy cannot function without a measurement mechanism. KPIs, key performance indicators, are tools that help organizations see progress, detect deviations, and make timely adjustments. They are not just numbers, but representations of what the organization considers important. If the vision is the lighthouse, KPIs are the navigation radar. Choosing the right KPIs means focusing on the right priorities. Otherwise, the organization may appear successful on paper, but stray from its real goals. Each objective must be tied to at least one specific metric. Good KPIs are measurable, understandable, and directly tied to desired outcomes. For example, revenue growth, order processing time reduction, customer satisfaction scores, or employee retention rates. The focus should not be solely financial. The balanced scorecard model encourages a comprehensive view through 4 dimensions: financial, customer, internal process, and learning and growth. What cannot be measured cannot be managed. The strategy map visually links objectives and KPIs. It is not just a reporting tool, but a strategic communication device for the entire organization. It answers, if we improve factor A, what will change in B and C? Each department, each individual should have KPIs tied to overall objectives. When the whole organization aligns to common indicators, every action pushes in the same direction. When measurement is right, action is right. Part 9. Value Chain and Business Model, where strategy becomes real value. A strategy is meaningless if it doesn't take root in how value is created. The value chain is the execution map that shows how the organization transforms resources into products, services. From inbound logistics, operations, marketing to after-sale service, every link is where strategy must be infused. Accurately identifying the stages that create the most customer value is essential to focus resources in the right place, at the right time, and in the right way. Successful strategy is not about doing more, but doing right where it matters most. Analyzing the value chain helps identify which stages are increasing costs without adding value, and which need optimization or investment. By refining each link, strategy becomes more practical and executable. Value does not lie in the plan, but where the customer truly feels the difference. The business model is the overall framework for how an organization delivers and captures value. When combined with a well-aligned value chain, the organization gains clarity on who the key customers are, what the most effective channels are, and whether the revenue and cost structure is optimized. This is not just a startup tool. It is a continuously updated foundation as strategy evolves. A strategic organization knows not just what it wants, but precisely how it creates value. Part 10. Execution, risk management, strategic communication. A strategy only comes alive through strong execution. Every action must be assigned to a specific accountable person, not a department, not a vague team, but actual names, timelines, and expected results. This is the principle that transforms strategy from document to behavior. At the same time, goals and action plans must cascade through all levels, from organization to department, team to individual, based on alignment and goal breakdown. However, no plan is risk-free. The key is not to avoid risks at all costs, but to identify them early and manage them proactively. Use a risk heat map to categorize along 2 axes: impact level and likelihood. High impact, high likelihood risks must be addressed immediately. Potential risks require constant monitoring. When risk is integrated from the start, the organization becomes less reactive and panicked when disruptions occur. Communication is the glue between strategy and people. Everyone must understand what the strategy is, why it matters, and their role in it. Communication must be diverse in format: team meetings, infographics, internal videos, periodic emails, etc. Most important is repetition, consistency, and two-way dialogue. When information is transparent, the organization doesn't just create buy-in, but awakens inner commitment. A successful strategy isn't forced, it is drawn in by belief and understanding. Some organizations rise from crisis, while others collapse amid growth. What causes that gap? Perhaps strategy doesn't live on paper, but in every decisive daily action. If everything is important, what truly takes priority? When internal silence outweighs the voice of strategy, can actions remain purposeful? Was the plan agreed upon or imposed? Every strategy holds a choice, to advance in unity or collapse in ambiguity. The difference doesn't come from the best plan, but from the boldest choice. Thank you for watching the whole video. Please like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos.